In 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, now he is with the Chargers, briefly with the Dolphins and Lions. Kyle Van Noy, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, is joining us in studio. So there you go, baby.
There we go.
Now, you're a free agent. You are a guy that knows the game. You think the game, ton of experience. I can see a team bringing you on with young linebackers and saying, let's bring a grown-up in. Are there teams that you're looking at? Do you have a feel where you're going?
You know, I haven't thought about it too much because of the last 2 years of being in free agency didn't go how I thought they would. Right. I thought I would still be on those teams. Yeah. So I'm honestly just sitting back, enjoying it. I'm here with you right now, talking ball. I'm not really worried about my future. I'm just enjoying the present right now. I know a team will want me of how I finish the season, and I'll be grateful to go wherever I need to go. I'm confident in who I am as a player, and I'm excited to continue my success in the NFL.
So you've played with Mac Jones, with Tua, and Justin Herbert.
Oh, there you go. I like it. Let's get into it.
You're the first time with Herbert that you're at a practice and you drop back in coverage. How long did it take to go, okay, that's different?
I'll tell you a good quick story. It actually happened to be in 7-on-7. It was a third down drill, and I was actually playing off the ball during fall camp. So I was kind of talking trash to him, 0 for 1, 0 for 2. And then he whips one right by my ear, and he's like, 1 for 2, 2 for 2, 3 for 2. Then he started going on this clinic. And then after the series was over, or after the period that we call it, he comes up and he was like, how was that? And I was like, okay. Now that was like my introduction to him, and good friends with him. Love the kid. He's going to be phenomenal. Can't wait to see for his future, the way he works and his growth. And I know everybody wants him to speak more, and he'll get there. Yeah. I'm confident in that. Kid. He loves football, and he loves personalities behind the scenes, and I respect that.
Yeah. When you were part of the greatest dynasty in league history.
Yes, I'm proud of that, by the way.
You should be.
Yeah, I talk trash about it, too.
Well, it was also, I never felt New England always had the most talented teams. They were talented. I thought they were the smartest teams. And Damian Woody's a friend of mine. He used to tell stories. He was saying, we would practice a play for 17 weeks, and then we'd use it on a weird third down, and it was different. That's not a knock on Brian Flores briefly or Brandon Staley, but kind of take your time on this, the intensity of Belichick and that culture for those years.
We could be here all 3 hours of this. The intensity of Bill is nothing that I've ever seen, because he just wants to win every day. Like, he's not talking about the next day or the week. He's talking about that day. The most important time is that practice, right? Practice is the most important thing. So he's literally, all his mind, everything, his focus, energy is on that one practice. And that type of energy that you have to just process and just hone in and not worry about anything else. No distractions. You have all sorts of stuff. He's the GM. He's the coach. All those distractions. He does not care. He is mainly focused on that one practice. And I think that's what separates him apart, because he's just trying to win that one day. And he knows, if I can win this one day and stack that and stack that and stack that, my guys are going to be ready to go for the game.
Were you ever late to a practice?
No, but I'll tell you the one time I was late. It was actually, I'll never forget this. It was my son, newborn, and it was a rough night at the house, right?
Sure.
Wifey did her thing. She took care of him, and I was up. He was crying. I'm going to blame him, right? And I didn't sleep very well, and I woke up late. Oh, man.
Your heart dropped.
Yes, my heart dropped, and I have a missed call from Bill. I get to the facility. He's like, come on, Kyle, we can't do that, And he fined me, of course. He fines everybody that's late. but I was pretty nervous when I was late approaching New England's stadium. It was a long drive that day. I was driving fast, but it was long mentally for sure.
Brady obviously is as good as anybody that's done it. He was very much in line with Bill. And I think I always said this, Shaq and Kobe were the two best closers arguably at the same time in the league. They wore each other out. Did you ever sense bits and pieces of little tiny fissures after all those years? It's like it's like a marriage. After 20 years, you argue occasionally.
I mean, I think it's with anything. It's just with me and other coaches that have been together. So, I mean, you could see some things, but nothing to the effect of like, oh, this is crazy, right? It was normal conversations. There was never a heated argument, but I think when I'm done and I'm not playing football and don't want to make headlines right now, I'll be able to discuss this a little bit more, write my own book and tell my side of the story. But I didn't see anything crazy off the top of my head.
Yeah. So when you look at the league right now, it's pretty obvious that the league, for safety reasons, has pivoted to offense. It used to be when you broke into this league, so about a decade ago, the middle of the field was transitioning from the defenses to the offenses. Now it's the offenses.
Oh, yeah.
You can't hit anybody.
Nope.
I mean, Nick Saban admitted this 5 years ago in college. I can't stop the best offenses. Take me to your rookie year in the NFL and to now that you've noticed structurally rules, what's made it harder for linebackers?
I think I don't want to just put myself. I just want to have everybody envision just the receiving yards, are crazy through the roof right now, right?
Crazy.
Absurd numbers. So I think just going over the middle, receivers aren't scared like they used to, like take the Diggs catch of Kittle the other day.
He would have been lit up.
What? He would have been holding his ribs. He would have been hurt. There was another play in Vikings versus Patriots game where Justin Jefferson's flying down the sideline and Devin McCourty comes in, gets a good hit on him. But back in the day, I mean, he's holding his ribs again, talking about, we got to call somebody over. That's not happening anymore. Guys are happy to go across the middle, catch the ball with two hands because they know they're not going to get hit anywhere, essentially. It's kind of like you get pushed down to the ground. I would say that's the biggest thing that I've seen over my course of the last decade is just receivers being a little bit more like just catching the ball over the middle and not being scared.
So you faced Patrick Mahomes, I believe, 5 times. And I've asked people for years when you face Peyton Manning what it's like, and Peyton's looking at you and barking and Omaha, and I'm not sure if Mahomes does that. But you can go to the first time you faced him, the last time. Did you know instantly, Kyle, this cat's different?
No, I'm not going to say instantly. It probably wasn't till the next time I played him. The first time was, I want to believe, in 2017 off the Super Bowl year of 16. Him and Kareem Hunt came in the stadium and blew the roof off. They beat our ass. And, so I gave a lot of credit to Kareem Hunt because at that time he was the best running back in the league as a rookie. I mean, he could run you over, juke you, stiff arm you. I mean, he only had to touch the ball 12 times a game to get 100 yards. He was incredible. And then what Mahomes has done, from what I've seen from him, is he's turning into a more pure pocket passer. He doesn't have to do – I mean, what makes him special is getting outside the pocket, Madden, run around like you would be playing Madden, running around behind the scene for 5 minutes and then finding somebody open and throwing it. He's doing that in real life. That separates him. But his pocket passing ability of reading coverages, understanding schemes, and Andy Reid just dialing it up for him. I mean, I think this year he proved to be the MVP. He didn't have a true number one receiver, even though I think Travis Kelce's a receiver. I just think he's the MVP of this year.
So let's talk. You've had to go. you've had to defend Travis Kelce. In practice, you defended Gronk.
Oh, yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the individual matchups. So when you face Gronk, who's really known as at red zone, he can block. Was there a trick to defending Gronk? I mean, and it was practice, but was there a little edge you felt you could do with Gronk?
I loved guarding Gronk in practice because we'd be laughing the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, we'd be lined up and it would set hike and he'll tell you we both hit each other and start laughing at each other. And it was just a fun competitive. But the thing that always, to me, separated Gronk was his ability, his catch radius and his strength. Like anywhere the ball was, he could go up and get it.
No drops.
And yes, and he's holding that. So, like, you could be slapping at it, trying to get a PBU, and he's, like, kind of, like, dunking on you a little bit. And sometimes you would get him, and for me, it was always trying to be more physical with him. He obviously liked that back, and I think it was just fun competing with him at that level. It was just fun.
He came here to work at Fox. He is contagious.
Oh, yeah.
He's literally in the building. He is one of the most likable people I've been around. Now, Kelce's a different matchup.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how he grades as a blocker, but
not good. He knows he's not good at that.
Okay.
And it's okay. Like, but he's really good at receiving, like unbelievable.
And like Gronk, a big personality. When you match up with him, is he a trash talker? What is it?
He's a little trash talker, but he deserves it. I mean, he backs it up on the field. He makes game-changing plays. I mean, pisses me off that this last year they got to walk off on us at our own stadium. That was kind of embarrassing. But got to give credit when credit's due. He's a really dynamic player. He's really changed the game and paved the way for tight ends. I know.
Should be paid like a receiver.
Yes. And I know he gave credit to Antonio Gates because he was the other day, I want to say on his podcast, him and his brother are doing a really good job of that, gave Antonio Gates paving the way from him. And I think now he's paved the way for everybody after to get that type of deal of what you're saying, receiver money.
I've asked guys like you that occasionally come off the edge and you know, was there ever an offensive lineman? Ray Lewis years ago, you know, the great Ray Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Ray's really funny. I mean, if you get Ray off the mic, he is hysterical. And I asked him years ago about, and it was a Kansas City offensive lineman. It may have been Willie Rowe for something. And he's like, he's like, Colin, I'm a physical guy. I got no interest hitting him. Is that when you look back at the guys, we were just talking about Trent Williams earlier today. Micah Parsons disappeared. Were there teams, maybe it's Baltimore's culture, or were there linemen that if they're coming around the corner and it's a run block, or you have to come in, who to you was almost a perfect offensive lineman in all your year? It could be a pulling guard.
Man. Played so many over the years now. I really liked Tyron Smith when I was younger.
Former Trojan.
Phenomenal player.
He had no fat.
He's a specimen. I mean, he's still playing good. He was still playing good the other day. He's just definitely not what he was.
If he gets his hands on you?
He's just strong. Oh, man, there's so many. Travis Kelce's brother, Jason Kelce, very fast. Alex Mack at the center was very fast, just climbing to the second level. I wouldn't say they're overly strong, but they just
discard, go to the next guy.
Yes. Dominic Raiola, he doesn't get enough credit either. I played with him when I was a rookie in Detroit. He was another center. He was grimy though. I loved it. Like he just, you know, do little nicks and knacks that veterans do. He's from that older age type of deal, like play through anything and just, you know, wrap it up, tape it up, and go.
So Kyle Shanahan's offense, we've said this. I love watching the Niners play. It is 1988 football. They always figure out a way to throw an additional blocker on any run. I don't know where they come from, but they'll bring another guard. They've got, you know, obviously Kyle Juszczyk, the Pro Bowl fullback. When you defend a Niners offense with Kyle Shanahan, as a viewer, it looks different than other offenses.
Yes.
When you're defending it, Why is it so successful? He's had 6-round running backs. Elijah Mitchell. Everybody succeeds in it. What's the secret sauce to Kyle's offense?
He's got about 1,000 run plays.
Is that it?
I mean, you just saw it in the Cowboys game. The Cowboys game, they did a really good job stopping the zone stretch. And I want to say they gained about 27 yards in the first half. Flip it to the second half, they come out in gap scheme where they're down block. Trent Williams coming down on the double team, climbing, and then you got 2 pullers that are coming. And they had 86 yards in the second half. And you're like, they stopped him in the first half, and then it's because he switched his whole playbook. His offensive and adjustments in the game are, right now I think he's the best OC in the game right now.
Do they mask them? Can you tell? Just Brock Purdy's a kid, and he's figured it out.
And I want to say that's what they do so well is they make one thing look the same. Like they run that. The biggest thing right now is that tight end coming across fast motion, whether you put a tackle there. You saw Trent Williams the year before against Green Bay smacking Buddy out of the club. Now they're doing a tight end doing it. Juszczyk does it, and then they have a boot off of it.
Yeah, Debo sometimes.
So now you have the linebackers and safeties all flowing like, oh, here it comes, and then the pass rush is a little slow, and then they're out on the perimeter. Brock Purdy, easy throw, easy read. Keep the chains moving.
So they keep you thinking.
Yes.
Constantly.
Oh, yeah. They put a lot of pressure on everybody because they motion someone, and that usually affects 4 to 5 guys, their assignments. And so every play you got to be sharp. They put pressure every single play.
Okay, your organization, the Chargers. So Brandon Staley retains his job. I think he's smart. I think players like him. I do worry about the adjustments. I tend to think young coaches. I criticized Matt LaFleur years ago. I thought he was very good in the film room, very good in the first half. I thought Matt LaFleur's first couple of years, he wasn't a great adjuster. Kyle Shanahan is. Belichick is. Pete Carroll is. Mike Tomlin is. Is it a fair criticism to say that part of his game needs to get better? The halftime adjustments.
I think that's my guy. I really like Brandon Staley. I think he's a phenomenal coach. But, just like anyone, when you don't win the Super Bowl, you can always get better, right? I think for him, he's going to go back and look at the film on where he can get better, where he can make adjustments better. I don't want to just put it on him. I think it's a collective group. I think players need to do their part in it as well. I'm excited to see him because he took the challenge last year. And with the amount of injuries that we sustained this year from Pro Bowl, All-Pro players.
Up front defensively.
We lost 3 D linemen. I could go on, and I'm not making an excuse, but to stay in the hunt and be in the hunt at the end of the season, I was very impressed with the composure he had. And, I know he's going to make better adjustments. I know he's going to make the right things to win because that's what he's all about. He's all about winning, and he's going to get it done.
You had Mac Jones for a year.
I did.
Now, they call him McEnroe Jones. Apparently, he gets pissy. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I always give Mac a hard time about that because I think what people don't understand is these guys are still human. I know they're leading billion-dollar companies, and that's a huge task, and everybody wants all these quarterbacks to act a certain way.
Right.
It's just like Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar deserves his money, deserves it all. He doesn't do what everyone else does, right?
Yeah.
And you could go Justin. He doesn't do what everyone else does.
He's very quiet, very private.
Does his own thing. Tom, same way. He does his thing his own way. Joe Burrow, most swag quarterback in the league right now. Right. Joe Shiesty, they call him. King of the North, they call him. Buddy's got. I love Patrick Mahomes. He's vocal. He talks openly about everything. I just love all these different quarterbacks doing different things now. Back to Mac with the original question, Mac's going to do a good job. I just saw Billy O's coming back.
Yeah, Bill
That's
O'Brien.
his guy. I think it's going to work out great. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for him to continue to mature. He's going to do it. He's done it already. I'll tell you a quick story about Mac. Is when I knew he was going to be the guy. Is when Cam Newton was not there during practice. I think it was like, I believe, COVID situation. Missed practice during fall camp, and he came in against the Giants and kind of was cussing people out. Get your ass, so directing people, and and he was slicing up our defense, and then sliced up the Giants, and it was like, oh, this dude's taking that step. And so I envision him that he's going to continue to do that with his maturation. Is that the right word? Yeah. And continue to get better in everything he needs. And I think Billy O is going to be able to get him there.
Finally, Brady, what do you think he does? By the way,
Tommy boy, love that man. He's a good man.
He was showing his kids to a private school in Miami. Would you be shocked? His dad said he'll never retire. Would you be shocked if he said, I've had a great run?
I mean, I was shocked what he did last year.
Right.
I just felt like it was off and it wasn't the right way he exits. And, I'm so happy for him and his career, just battling with the things he's done off the field and continue to go through. And
you played with the greatest football player ever.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. And I think he's the GOAT. He's definitely the
Did he
best.
ever cuss you out?
Yes, he's cussed at me. I will say this. One thing that I loved about him is when we ended up playing him when he was at Tampa in that game. And after the game, he said something. He's like, it's not fun playing your friends. And he took a knee and came, and it was Hightower, Dante Hightower, and myself went up to give him some love. And he's like, that wasn't as fun as I thought it was. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't. It was really weird, like playing your older brother, and it was fun competing, but it was just a weird dynamic. Yeah.
All right, Kyle Van Noy. I had no idea he was my neighbor. We'll end it there. We won't tell you where.
Yeah.
But what a pleasure to meet you finally.
Yes.
Good luck to you. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
You bet. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.